sit back, relax, grab a coffee, put your feet up, and come on a journey with me in the week of a life of a part-time eBay reseller. Hey guys, my name is Tom and I'm a part-time eBay reseller. I do this alongside my full-time job. I basically buy and sell any second-hand stuff that I can find from charity shops, car boots and Facebook Marketplace pickups, and I resell them online to make a profit. So in last week's episode we made £200 profit after all of the fees and deductions, so let's see if we can beat that this week. So up first, I've got 9 sales that I've made over the weekend from Friday evening through to Monday. It's currently Monday the 8th. I'm going to get these wrapped tonight and then posted tomorrow morning. So let's see what I've sold. As a rule of thumb, I usually add postage on top because postage isn't free and I do charge extra for that, so I won't include postage in everything that I read out. However, there are a few exceptions where there may be old listings where I forgot to add the postage on. When games were fairly cheap to post, when a large letter only cost around about £1 to post, I used to add free postage, whereas now I tend to add it on as postage is quite expensive. So the first game we've got is Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse. This is XV on the PS3. This was sold for £8.49 with free postage. This is one of the old previous ones. I believe I paid about £2 for this from CEX. It's in really good condition. Comes with the manual and everything, so nice condition copy of the game. That sold for £8.49. Up next, I sold this Resident Evil 2 remake disc only on the PS4 for £10.95. This cost me around about £12 with a steelbook. The steelbook was actually really rare, which sold for around £40 on eBay. I think it's about £40-45, probably about 4 or 5 months ago I sold that. This is the leftover, so I always mark down half price, essentially half for the disc, half for the steelbook. So this cost £6 and I sold it for £10.95. Up next then, we've got a copy of Sims 4 on the PlayStation 4. This was £3 from Cash Generator just after Christmas. It sold quite quick for £10.70. Not really too much to say on that one. Nice bit of profit made there. That's the good thing with video games sometimes, is they are quick and easy to list and they're in and out. As long as you price it correctly, the game can come in and go out, so it might only be a couple of pounds profit, but it sells super quick. Up next we've got this England rugby shirt. I believe this is an age sort of 12 to 14 kids. This cost me £1 from a charity shop and this sold for £11.99 plus postage. The next one I sold is Need for Speed Payback on the PlayStation 4. This also cost me £3 and was from the same shop as the Sims Cash Generator. This sold for £10 plus postage, sold really quickly as well. Not really much more to say on that one. I've also sold this copy of Infamous Special Edition on the PlayStation 3. This sold for £13.70. I paid around £2.50 I believe from CEX. I always look out for steelbooks and special editions in CEX. They usually mark it as the same price as the original game, and obviously you get some bonus stuff, whether that's a steelbook or in this case we get a cool little cardboard sort of sleeve in here. It should come with a comic book, so I probably could have got more for this if the comic book was included, but that goes in there. You've got the manual there and the disc, so it is missing some things, but even missing a few bits, I got £13.70 plus postage for that one. Up next, I've got a bit of a random sale. My boss at work actually bought a TV for the office. We've mounted that on the wall, so we don't need the TV stand. He was going to throw this away in the skip. I sort of rescued it and said that we can sell it online. So this TV stand here sold for £24.99. I only listed it about 3 days ago, sold really quickly. Brand new item. Obviously someone needs a replacement part or theirs is broken, so yeah, don't overlook sort of TV parts or any sort of electronic parts. Controllers and remotes sell really well, and obviously if you've got anything sort of like a stand or a frame or anything like that that's still brand new or even second hand, you can get some good money for parts, so don't overlook that. So last week I pulled out some old stock from the garage that I just haven't got around to listing yet, and I listed that over the weekend. One of them was this Cosmic Red DualSense PS5 controller. I paid £35 for this from someone on Facebook. A good tip with that is actually I've made friends with this guy on Facebook, and he sort of saved some new sort of PlayStation or gaming related stock for me. So he resells on Amazon and also eBay, but he mainly buys things from Game. In the sale, he uses his elite card and gets points, and that's how he sort of makes his profit. So I buy some things off him. One of them was his controller. He got this quite cheap. I paid £35 for it. He made a bit of money. I'm going to make a bit of money. So I listed this over the weekend for £51.70 plus postage, and it sold overnight. And the last thing that I sold over the weekend was this Borderlands Claptrap t-shirt. I paid £2.50 for this from the charity shop, and it sold for £7.50 plus postage. Not too much to say on this one. It is a nice t-shirt. I think it's a large, so it would have fit me, but I'm not really into sort of gaming t-shirts unless it's really cool. I like Borderlands, but it's not really something that I'd wear, so I decided to flip this one. It has been listed for a long time, so I haven't made too much profit on it. But when selling clothing, I always like to fold it up nicely, put it in one of these clear plastic bags, and then that goes into a poly mailer. And then once it's bagged up, that can just go straight into the post. So that's all the items that I've sold over the weekend. I'm going to get all these wrapped now, bagged up and boxed. I'll buy my labels ready, and then I will go to the post office tomorrow on my lunch break. Now that all of those are boxed up and packaged and the labels have been purchased, I'm going to go and do some gaming and some chilling out. I'm currently playing Marvel Spider-Man 2. I didn't actually pick that up at launch, managed to find a copy on Marketplace for £35, so I'm going to go and play that now. Right, so I've got to post my parcels today. I left them at home, which is great, so I'm going to have to go home and get them. There's actually a closer post office, so the way I go home is opposite to the one I usually go to from work, so I'm going to head there now. But there is actually a couple of sort of jumble sale / charity shops there, so I'm going to try and check them out. Hopefully I'll get some footage and see what I find. So there was only one charity shop open. They had a nice selection of PS2, 360 and PC games, but they were all sports titles, which I don't mind, but if I was playing them, but to buy them to resell, they're not worth anything. Quite overpriced as well for what they are. Loads of PC and DVDs. These DVDs were 40p each. Nothing really great in there. I did find one though, which I'll show you later. There's some Blu-rays and books over here. And then back to the DVDs again. Here's the War of the Worlds. This is the live on stage starring Liam Neeson. And then we've got some toys over here. Had a box of plushies. Nothing in there that's really worth reselling. Plushies tend to linger for me for a long time. So I've just got back to work, popped to the charity shop. So I went to the post office and popped in the charity shop that was just around the corner. I've never been in there before. There was a few clothing bits, shoes, toys, games, etc. Loads of media, loads of CDs and DVDs. Didn't get a great deal of time to sort of sift through them all, but I did pick out two things, so I'll show you what they are now. This was only £1. This is some Top Trump specials. I think it's Roblox. This was still sealed. It was only £1. I think this goes for around £9 to £10. And then the next one I picked up was this War of the Worlds. This is live from the O2. Now, obviously the original film goes for like 10p, but this one sort of stood out to me a bit. This is sort of like the on-stage version. It's only 40p. I did check it up on eBay. And on Blu-ray they seem to be going for a bit more, but on DVD it was going for around £14 to £15, so I thought I'd pick this up and give it a go. I only picked up the two things. There was a couple of toys in there, and there was like a Twilight Barbie figure, but they were quite sort of in between sort of what they sell for, and sort of you know, bare minimum of what I'd be willing to pay. So I thought it's not really much profit in it, and they were quite bulky items, so they're going to take up space and I'm not going to make that much profit. So I'd rather get sort of smaller items or more expensive items with a higher margin, so I passed on those ones. Right then guys, it's a new day, it's Wednesday, just finished work, I've just got home, I've been in the garage, I've picked all my parcels and orders, they're ready to wrap, so I'll get into what I've sold in a second. There's two charity shop pickups of £1.40 for the two items, those have been listed. The DVD was a little less than I thought, but still good value, so I've listed that for around £9 plus postage. And those Top Trump cards were still sealed, so those were listed for around £6 plus postage. Only small items, I'm not going to make loads of profit on them, but for £1.40 that's quite a good return. So let's get into what I sold. So the first sale that we made on Wednesday night, I believe, was these Thomas stickers. Now, I've discussed these before, so I won't go into too much detail. This is a repeat buyer. From what I gather, the lady has been buying them for her grandson. She sent me a few messages and asked if I'd do 2 for £25 last time. So I said yes, and she came back to me again and said she wants 2 more boxes because he loves them. So that's really nice to see. So I made 2 sales here, £25 for the pair, free postage. After all fees, I'll get about £18, and I paid £1 a box for them. Now this next sale, I could fib and I could say I only paid £1 for it and made a little bit of profit, but I'm going to be brutally honest, not everything you sell is going to make you profit. You may make some sort of errors or some fails. So this next item cost me £6.50 from a charity shop, and that item is a Reebok athletic department sort of coat and jacket. This was, as I said, £6.50 from the charity shop, and I took it home. There's a few snags, a few loose threads. I think there was maybe a hole in it as well, and it's just not really a nice jacket. I thought because it was vintage and Reebok, it's a good brand, sports coat. At the time it was sort of approaching autumn. I thought, you know what, £6.50, I'll take a gamble on that. Listed it for 20, didn't sell. Listed it for 15, didn't sell. Dropped it to 10, didn't sell. So I've listed this now for £6.50. I got back what I paid. However, I've got the postage costs, I've got the fees, and I've got the material costs and the time to list it. So this has been a fail, bit of a learning curve, and that is absolutely fine in business and in this business in general. You know, you will make fails, you will make purchases, and not every single thing you buy is either going to sell or make profit. And sometimes you just have to cut your losses and put it down as a learning curve. And the next sale is this Halo 5 Guardians limited edition steelbook. This cost me £2 from CEX. I believe there was a condition upgrade for my own collection. There were some postcards in there that were still sealed. This version they're open, so I just swapped a few things around. This only sold for £6.50 plus postage, so not really any profit in it all, but I did get a condition upgrade for my collection out of it, so I'm very happy with that. Another video game sold, Need for Speed Heat. This was from the game bundle just after Christmas that I picked up from Cash Generator, I believe it was. This was £3 and I sold this for £11.65 plus post. So the last thing that I sold was this Warner Bros. Tasmanian Devil sort of Looney Tunes t-shirt. I did actually really like this for myself. This was a large. It did fit and I probably should have kept it in hindsight. But at the time I sort of listed it as a sort of vintage shirt. Listed it for around £20. I've reduced it over time and it sold for £12.99 plus postage. Probably would have liked to have kept it, but I only paid £4 for it from the charity shop, so it doesn't owe me much and I've made profit on it, so in and out. Also, if you keep everything you buy, you're never going to make any profit, so some things you do just have to suck it up and sell it. As always with my clothing, they go in clear plastic bags. The clothes are easy to fold up and fit in the bags. They have a little sort of seal on the back, and then it stops any moisture getting in, and if the outer poly mailer gets ripped in transit, at least it's got a bit more protection as well. All my parcels are wrapped. The next step is to get them weighed. So once I've weighed the parcel, that determines how much the postage is going to be. Got to check the size dimensions, and then I purchase the labels on my phone, number the packages, and then it's off to the post office to get them posted. The boss has made lunch again today. We've got Jamaican lasagna. Let's give it a try. After my lunch break, I decided to pop to Bromsgrove as I had a work meeting with a client, but there was a CEX there, so of course I had to have a sneaky pop in after I went to the post office and posted my parcels. They had a few nice things in the window. As you can see, there's a few sort of Switch games up there, some nice retro games as well, some Game Boy Advance. That statue's quite nice as well. Inside they've got even more retro stuff. Condition of some of it wasn't perfect, but still nice to see all those boxes in 2024. There were a few things in here that caught my eye which I may have purchased, and I'll show you after the video. But yeah, you got the PS5 and PS4 section, pretty standard. Nothing that really sort of stood out to me. No steelbooks, I did have a look. Moving on to the Wii and PSP, GameCube, etc. We've got some Nintendo 3DS there. Some of these sections were quite measly. Maybe just a sign of the times. It's just after Christmas. A lot of people have bought stock for Christmas. Maybe this is just what they've got left. So hopefully games get replenished. But as you can see, there's just 3 Vita games there and a handful of PSP games. In the PS3 section, there was absolutely nothing that I needed. As I've got such a big collection, I'm at that stage now where I don't find any new games that I need for the collection. So it is a little bit frustrating, but at least I don't have to spend money. I did, however, manage to find a few things I wanted to purchase, which I'll show you now. So we've got the Sega Mega Drive Toy Story game, World Cup 98 and the Zelda Game & Watch. The Toy Story Sega Mega Drive game is the only Mega Drive game that I actually own. I do have a Sega Mega Drive that I bought to resell that I haven't tested yet, so I may keep that for the collection, try this game out. If you've got any game recommendations in the comments below, let me know. But I am a massive Toy Story fan, so I had to have this when I saw it. I just love the box art on it as well. Now, the World Cup 98 game was only £2. I really like football and some sports games I like to collect. As it's only £2, you can't really go wrong with this. The final item that I decided to pick up was this Zelda Game & Watch. Now, I got a present off my friend Connor for Christmas. It was an actual ocarina that you can play, which is awesome, from Zelda. And he really liked this in my collection, so I saw this and picked it up for him. So just a quick update for everyone, it's now Friday. Last night I didn't wrap any parcels simply because they don't need posting until the 15th of January. I posted a day late this week, therefore I don't need to post today. I'm at Bring Me the Horizon tonight in Birmingham, so I'm looking forward to that. So I'll probably throw a bit of footage in, because why not? So I'm going there for a gig. Depending on what time I get back from the gig and get some sleep, I will try and get the parcels wrapped in the morning. So tomorrow morning I'll check back in, show you what I sold, and I'll try and get them wrapped into the post office before lunchtime. And then anything from tonight is the cut-off for next week. So let's see what I sold tomorrow. Also, just a quick one, how sick is this shirt? Can we just appreciate this? So we're at the gig. First on is Bad Omens. Sorry for not including any audio. I don't want to get any copyright strikes. I did have a channel that I used to upload all of my gig videos to, and then that used to get copyrighted, so it's just not worth it. There was so much confetti fired out during this gig numerous times. It was great. All that just raining down on you. It's such a cool experience. Shadow Moses is my favourite song, so I had to go in the mosh pit for that. So just here's a clip of me getting brutally murdered. Can You Feel My Heart is just another awesome song, and there's more confetti raining down as well. This is definitely going to be Gig of the Year, and it's only January. If you haven't heard of them, definitely check them out. So it's Saturday morning, I got back from the gig, fantastic, loved it. Just in the garage now, ready to pick some orders, very chaotic, still not ready to show everyone what it looks like, but yeah, as you can see, sneak peek, it's just absolutely sort of messy and carnage in here. So I'm going to pick my orders, and then we're going to go in the house. I'll show you what I sold, how much I paid for them, how much profit I made, and then we'll get them wrapped. So just a quick sneak peek, I sold 3 bags of Lego. These are some Lego sets that I basically got free with magazines 5-6 years ago. I decided to finally sell them last year, had probably double this amount, and I've sold quite a lot already. Between 5 and some of them go upwards of £20 each, so I've made a really good return on these. I've got 3 in here I'm going to pick out, so we've got quite a good selection. Some of them I haven't actually listed because I had multiples of them, so I've listed one and the one sold. So there's quite a few in here like duplicates that I probably need to relist. But yeah, there's 3 in here that sold, so I'll show you what they are when I get back in the house. This is one of the many reasons I hate my garage. So we've got all these boxes here on top of each other just to save as much space as possible. And the item I need to pick is right here. So yeah, this is going to take me about 5 minutes just to get the item. Okay, that was no over-exaggeration, it took me about 45 seconds. And we actually sold a 4th bag of Lego. And the last item is in here. So we're back in the house now. I've got all the items that I picked in front of me. There should be 7 sales in total. Up first we've got this Lego Star Wars Acklay figure, I believe it's called. This sold for £7.50, free postage. This has gone to the same buyer who has bought the next 2 items, so I'll be packaging the 3 things together. So it's free postage, but at least I'll be able to combine the postage and it'll make it cheaper for me. So the other 2 items I got is this AAT. This sold for £4.98, and the last one is Ray's Speeder. which sold for £7.49, so between the two it's about £11.47 or something. The free sales in total, the customer spent around about £18, so I will wrap those all together and that'll go in a large letter. That'll be about £1.55 postage. So I did put free postage on all of these, but it won't cost me too much. Up next, I've got a PlayStation 1 game. This is ODT. This was £6.25 plus postage. I bought a massive game bundle around about 4 years ago now, just before lockdown. It was PS1, PS2, PS3. I bought about 600 games from someone on Facebook, and he was quite local. I kept a lot from my collection, sold some. I believe I made profit. I'm not going to lie, I didn't really keep track of that much because there was a lot that I kept for myself, and some of them were quite slow sellers, but there was a few big hitters in there which I sold off straight away and made quite a bit of money back. And this is just some of the ones that have been lingering, that have been listed on my store for years. So this one sold for £6.25. Another Lego figure sold. This was a Lego Batman, I believe from the movie. This sold for £11.95 with free postage. This is going via GSP, so someone abroad has bought this. Again, doesn't cost me very much. A lot of all of these little sort of Lego things in the packets came with magazines, and I got them as like free gifts, so they don't really owe me much. Up next, we've got NES, the greatest games ever on PC CD-ROM. This was 50p from a car boot, doesn't owe me much, sold for £4.99 plus postage. Been lingering for a while. I did consider keeping it in the collection, but it's not really something that I need or want. I never really played the NES when I was younger. Whilst I have a couple of NES games, it's not something that I own or play, so I decided to flip that one. Up next, I sold this bundle of 8 Xbox magazines. So my girlfriend actually found these in a charity shop. I was looking in the sort of DVDs section, and she came over and said, "Are these any good?" And we got 8 of these Xbox ones for 25p each. We did sell the Red Dead Redemption one last week for £7.60, I believe it was, or £6.70, that was it. So that one sold on its own. The rest of them though were all sort of like not as popular games. They're all still mainstream games. We've got like Borderlands 3 on that one. That was just sort of like all of the games that are coming out that month. I think Anthem is that. So there's a few popular games on here, but nothing really that sort of sells on its own. So a lot of these bundles of these magazines go quite cheap, or they only go for around £2 a magazine. So I listed that Red Dead one separately, but these ones have all gone together. £11.99 I got plus postage on top, so not too bad. Probably about £10 profit, maybe about £8 after fees. The last item that sold this week is this game called 99 Nights 2, I believe, on the Xbox 360. So this one was about 90p or £1 I worked out it cost me. So I think I paid £60 at the start of December for a big gaming bundle on the Xbox 360. It came with a 360 console as well and a load of games. I listed all of the ones that were worth any value sort of on their own separately, such as this one, and then I've still got a big bundle. Some of them need disc cleaning, which is why I've not listed it yet, so I need to spend the day disc cleaning. I'll probably do a video on that when I get around to it, just how it works and how to do it, and whether it's worth it, but yeah, so this one sold for £17.70 plus postage. I haven't sold anything yet. It's Saturday afternoon, so there might not be many sales sort of going forward into next week, but hopefully we get a few sales this evening. Everyone should be at home chilling, scrolling through their phone. Hopefully I'll make a few sales then, and tomorrow as well. So Monday morning I usually make anywhere between sort of 5 and up to even 15, 20 items, depending how busy the weekend is. But this week it's been a fairly slow week. I sold 22 items in total. So I've got my sheet of calculations in front of me, so let's work out how much I sort of made in profit, how much everything sold for, how much I paid in fees, etc. This hopefully is not in any means a brag at all. This is just a way of breaking down sort of how much effort and time I put in, how much money I made as a result of that, and whether it's worth it. If any of you guys are watching and you are a part-time reseller, or you're thinking of doing it, then you can work out whether this is something that's worth it. Obviously people sell different items, people make more money, people make less money. This is just what I sell, and I tend to sell things that I enjoy, such as the gaming things, the bits of Lego, the magazines, things like that. Some people find other niches and sell shoes and clothes, and that's their sort of thing. So I try to sell a variety of items, but my main thing and focus is sort of gaming and gaming items. and football shirts and things like that. So in total, how much did we make? So the total cost of everything that came in was £287 and a penny, and that was without postage. So I charged postage extra. So the postage on top, I charged £40.55, which gave me a grand total of £327.56. So the 22 items, now eBay charges a 30 pence charge per item you sell, plus 2.8%. So it's round about that figure. So 22 items, £6.60 charge for fees, and then with the actual fees for all of the items at the sort of 12.8%, I worked out that eBay charged around about £48.53 in fees, and that's including that £6. So I spent £49.24 on the postage. So I charged £40.55. Some things were free postage, some things I saved a bit of money on, and other things I sort of had to pay more than I charged. Sometimes when I list, I just sort of, you estimate the weight, you estimate how much it's going to sell for, and how much you're going to post it for, and you don't always know the exact sort of postage costs at the time, but it's just an estimation. So we spent a little bit more on the postage. Overall, the fees came to £97.77, which, taken off the sort of 327 return that we made, that equals £229.79. Now, the cost of all of the items, I worked out. The gaming controller cost me £35. That was a big bulk of it. The rest of the items were probably no more than £1 or £2.50 each in total. So that came to £77.26. So with all of those deductions taken off, I got £152.53 in total. Now, if you want to deep it even more, obviously I do pay my tax. There's the new tax laws that have come into play. I don't want to go into them too much because it's not really my area of expertise. I don't want to give anyone false information, but things like eBay, Vinted, other platforms are being told to report people's sales to HMRC. So from what I gather from a few articles that I've read online, if you sell more than £1,000 in a year, or you make more than £30 sales on eBay, I don't know if that's for Vinted and other things as well, but especially with eBay, if you make more than 30 sales and you make a total of more than 1,000, eBay are obliged to send that to HMRC. HMRC apparently have employed 24 full-time members of staff, which will be working on this. So if you are selling part-time just as a hobby, just to sort of earn a bit of extra money, if you are going above those thresholds, then do be wary, do consider looking into it more. And if you are making the sort of over £1,000, £2,000, £3,000, it may be worth speaking to an accountant or someone that you know, just to sort of help you out with that. So back into it. So £152.53 is everything that I made after all of the fees. Now the tax is around about 20%, so if we take off the 20%, that is £122.02. Now we made around about £200 last week, probably a little bit less. I might have miscalculated with the sort of fees. It probably was a little bit more than that. But we made about £200 last week. We've only made £122.02 this week. However, I have put significantly less time in this week. I've spent a lot less time listing. I haven't, in fact, I only listed 2 items, which are the 2 things that I bought this week. I've had quite a busy week, so I haven't had time to list. So the only really time I've put into eBay is the packaging posting. Obviously I've had to record the videos, but that isn't really something that you should account for because this is just additional. So realistically, packing, posting, going to the post office, listing those couple of things, I've probably spent about 5 hours. So that is still above £20 an hour. So it's still worth it, in my opinion, for myself. Some people might, think those are small numbers, which they are, but at the end of the day, it all adds up. It all helps. It helps pay the bills, and it keeps this hobby going. So I'll see you on the next video. Thank you all for watching. Again, if you like this style of video, comment below, like and subscribe, and I'll keep up making these videos. I'll do a weekly video, and we'll see how we get on.